like me, I'm so Houston and I'm so Bri at the same time.
Right.
So it's hard for people to accept that. So it was just Bri. You're gonna have to keep being yourself. Don't change for a challenge. Don't change for a contract. Don't change for whatever is thrown at you for some money. I was just trying to. That was the hardest thing for me, making sure I do not change for anything.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes situations in your environment make the person, and other times people make their environment change by making the most of the situations. Lil Bri came up from having to grind for everything. The hooper turned rapper had to hustle from the start, working her way up from making beats to put her words on those beats. Being able to rub elbows with so many influential people, like the previous First Lady Michelle Obama, and then the being on TV on 2 well-known shows. Coming from where she did, nothing was handed or taken for granted. And the story of how she got to becoming a bar-laying, hard-rapping artist her fans know her as today is truly inspiring for anyone who's trying to achieve their goals. So today, like always, we'll take a look at where Lil Bri is now, but first we have to take a trip back to see where Lil Bri came from on her journey to stardom. Yo, like always, I'd like to tell everyone I appreciate you for watching these videos. If you do end up enjoying the video, help us grow the Cosmo Crew and hit the like button. Don't forget to comment and subscribe if you haven't already. But without further ado, let's go ahead and blast back into this. Born on April 18th in 2001, Brianna Burns, aka Lil Bri, was born and raised in the 3rd Ward of the H-Town, Houston, Texas. Growing up as a shy tomboy, as she put it, Lil Bri always had music in her blood, even if she wasn't interested in being a musician herself. She has talented cousins, the sister singers Felicia Rashad and Debbie Allen. Lil Bri's first taste of music will be at her middle school, Lawson Middle, named after the historic Houston civil rights leader, Audrey Lawson, who championed education and active social engagement for the inner city of Houston's youth. This is where Lil Bri would get into the band, first starting off playing the tenor, but eventually she was taught the snare from her teacher, becoming the only female in the band. A forever student of whatever she put her head into accomplishing, she learned to read music and the basics of musical composition, and eventually she would even get into writing poetry outside of the band. After some time, one of her friends, Justice, would tell her about an after-school program that was helping the youth in the community, the Workshop Houston. The Workshop was a non-profit that specialized in teaching the youth of the community different skills. They had classes where the kids would make their own clothes, bikes, and study for scholarships. But most relevant to Bri's story, they had classes where you could make beats and record your own music. Here she would meet Reginald Hatter, her manager from the rap game show, who was the co-director of the Workshop. Lil Bri started making beats with her teacher, a professional producer, Bass Heavy, or as they called him, Mr. Bass. Eventually, him and Reginald would see a talent in Bri and assisted her in making her first song called Shoe Game Crazy. Mr. Bass would tell her to write to a beat she made on an old Barbra Streisand sample. The song showed so much promise, they decided to lock in on Bri, and she would end up at the studio working every day after school, even forming her own rap group called New Heat. Hip-hop was fun for Bri and became a way for her to break out of her shell and not be as shy. She would do some of her first shows and continued her work at the Workshop. Through her hard work, she would win an award for humanities that was given to her by the First Lady at the time, Michelle Obama, allowing her to take her first flight on an airplane and head to the White House itself, beating out hundreds of other eligible contestants for the award. Bri, still grinding, really didn't see a future in rap still. So while in school, she focused on her goal of joining law enforcement while exploring her other passion, basketball. Bri would end up getting recruited to a popular high school in Houston, Jack Yates, to play shooting guard. And though I couldn't find any footage, she said in her interviews she really had a game.
I'm a true basketball player. I went to Yates to play. That's what they called me, to go there to play. That's how I was like, this is what I want to do. That was my goal, go to college, play basketball. And then, everything changed when the music came
Lil
around.
Bri would keep putting out music, and eventually the producers from the rap game would discover it and contact her via email.
Well, it started out just me, in the city, just doing shows, rapping, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't think this was gonna take off because rapping wasn't my main focus for a minute. But then I'm like, okay, I can actually do this. People actually like my music. Yeah. So I'm like, let me keep pushing it. And we got hit up from the company. And I'm like, I didn't think it was real. I thought it was fake. I'm like, stop playing with me, whoever in my email. But it was actually real.
Even Bri didn't believe it was real, but she knew it was real once she got on that flight and flew out to Atlanta to record. Regulars around here should be real familiar with the cast of season 4, but if not, y'all could check out the other videos we've made on the contestants. Street Bud the winner, Ricky Biddy, and Rapunzel we just made videos on, so make sure y'all check those out next. We'll make sure to finish up season 4 next with Jordan. Lil Bri focused on being herself while on the show. She stayed humble and shy at the time, but locked in on her bars while on the show. Flipping the switch when it came to performing ended up being her downfall.
That's all it is.
I learned how to turn the switch on and off.
Yeah.
Like maybe not on the show as much, but I know when it's time to perform, oh then it's like Beyonce with her Sasha Fierce thing. Like she's so chill. Then when she hit the stage, it's a totally different person. So that's with me. Like I know when to turn it on and I know when to turn it off.
As an example, in the first episode, when everyone spit for JD and Jenny, they weren't impressed by the kids at first, but it also lit a fire under Bri, who put everything into her bars and flow from there on out.
If y'all know Jenny off the show.
Yeah, we were mad at Jenny too.
She said that
Ricky was not the only person. Ricky was not the only person.
When we first met, I'm like, if you look at the other seasons, they kind of had like something to work with.
Right.
They had a mic, they had a beat, or they had a table to throw or jump over something. So it was kind of hard to work when they were like, we were kind of dry. So that pissed me off. I'm like, not on TV. I'm not about to look like this. So where did we go? We went outside and I started writing. They didn't show that, but I started writing. I went crazy, and I was like, I gotta kill everybody.
Although her favorite from the past seasons was Detronada from season 3, I actually think there was more of a parallel with her and Flage from season 2. They both had a more mature, laid-back demeanor while being hoopers and rappers at the same time. Also, they both were on another TV show after the rap game. Lil Bri and Flage were also focused on the bars versus trying to keep an aesthetic of a rapper or trying to appear more grown than they actually were. I could touch on more similarities, but I'm not trying to drag it out too long. Lil Bri would place 3rd place that season in the shock of many of her fans, losing to the eventual winner Street Bud. But Lil Bri wouldn't get down on herself. She would stay true to her and of course her H-Town sound. Now throughout all of this, Reginald Hatter had been her manager, but after the show, that would seem to change.
No, he's not.
In this, I couldn't find anything concrete, so a lot of this is just my opinion. But from the clues that I could put together, it seems to me, while watching interviews that involve both of them, he focused a lot on pushing himself in the Workshop Houston program. I'm not saying that's neither a good or a bad thing, but it seemed to me that Bri would rather have her manager focus on her. But eventually, he moved on after he got a job at Baylor as a project director. Bri's rapper inspirations were some like her favorite rapper Kevin Gates, but also she always showed love to Queen Latifah and MC Lyte. But after being on the show, she would get love from some big artists like Young Blue or H-Town legend Paul Wall, and even opened up shows for Danny Lay and the winner of season 1 of the rap game, Big Lotto, with support from her mother Maria, who suffered from congestive heart failure. She knew she couldn't give up and she had to keep pushing, so she would make her second run-in with national TV, ending up on Fox's popular show, The Four, where Bri would battle for a spot in front of stars like DJ Khaled, P. Diddy, or Meghan Trainor. Unfortunately for her, she would fall short and lose that competition as well. But the improvement from her time on the rap game was unbelievable for Bri, who was still only 17 at the time. Now all grown up, her music has shifted. She still is lyrical, but now has more adult themes intertwined in her bars. I really enjoyed her music when she was talking about her life and everything she's seen and overcome, but I do understand trying to give people the content they want to go further in her pursuit to become one of the top female MCs. Lil Bri is still the same in many ways though, still taking the time to give back to the community that bred her. She's done shows for victims of Hurricane Harvey and participated in events like Write the Vision, Visual Board Workshop, a program providing a safe space for young girls to meet and be mentored. And of course, going back to where it all began, the Workshop Houston, building connections and helping other kids from the 3rd Ward the same way she's been helped in her childhood. It's easy to pretend to be someone you're not, but staying true to who you are and the values that represent you, regardless of outside influences, really shows your character. Lil Bri made the best of all her opportunities and continued to grow, but just like so many of the cast from the rap game, the growth is really just beginning. If you stuck around to the end of this video, I really do appreciate you, yes you. Y'all definitely part of the Cosmo crew and some real ones. Make sure y'all hit that like button before you get up out of here. And comment down below and let me know some other ideas of some people that you would like a deep dive on. But like always, it's your boy Stone Astro. And we out of here, man. Now go ahead and drop that outro.
I done said a lot of things that I can't take back. And if you wanna know the truth, there's a lot of good things that I know I like. I can't talk to you, I can't tell you the truth.